Hello and welcome once again to Hude Hour right here on Hude Network. As always, we are breaking down issues within the humanitarian and development space. I am Amadin Ogbewe.
And I am Joan. Thank you so much for joining us. You're welcome. Hi, Amadin. How are you doing today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm great.
How's the day going? It's still early in the morning. So much can still happen. A lot to achieve, a lot to believe in, hope for. Any thoughts for today?
Well, I'm excited, I'm thrilled, and I look forward to a wonderful day.
Indeed. And speaking about wonderful days, earning a living, we're talking about youth unemployment, solving it, and also youth empowerment as a reverse or the solution. Now, youth unemployment remains one of the most pressing socio-economic challenges affecting millions of young people worldwide. Unemployment limits opportunities for personal development and economic independence, contributing to broader societal issues.
The lack of employment opportunities for youth impacts not only individual livelihoods, but also national economic growth and social stability. However, youth unemployment is addressable through targeted policies, education reform, and entrepreneurship programs that can transform young people into productive contributors to the economy.
Today, we'll explore the realities of youth unemployment, its root causes, the progress made in workforce development initiatives, and the ongoing efforts to ensure that young people are empowered to participate fully in economic growth and development. But first, let's take a look at our headlines. Now, for the first one there, we have ILO chief calls for urgent action as youth unemployment surges. In other news, Global Labor Markets Conference unveils solutions to youth unemployment. Nigerian government launches job creation program for youths. And we're going to break now. When we return, we'll delve into these and more. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Today, we face a global youth employment crisis of staggering proportions. In Arab states and North Africa, 1 in 3 economically active youths cannot find work, while in sub-Saharan Africa, 3 in 4 young people lack secure employment opportunities.
Quite sad. The challenge isn't just about creating jobs, it's about addressing fundamental mismatches in our educational and economic systems. Currently, 2 in 3 young adult workers in developing economies possesses qualifications that don't align with their jobs, contributing to a climate of uncertainty where 2 in 3 youth report anxiety about losing their employment.
It's a sad one there. And we're witnessing a demographic divergence that will reshape global labor markets. While Africa's youth labor force is projected to grow by 76 million by 2050, all other regions will experience declining number of young workers. This occurs against a backdrop of profound inequality, that is 4 in 5 young adults in high-income countries secure regular paid work compared to just 1 in 5 in low-income countries. Well, we'll go on a break now, but I need you to stay with us as we explore these pressing challenges and the solutions that could transform youth unemployment into opportunities for economic growth. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our first news item. The head of the International Labour Organization is calling for urgent action to tackle rising youth unemployment, warning that millions of young people face long-term economic setbacks if the government don't act fast. A new ILO report shows that over 173 million young women and 85 million young men were not in education, employment, or training in 2024. In low-income countries, young women make up 37% of this group, making them especially vulnerable. While global unemployment remains a historic low of 5%, the report warns that the post-pandemic recovery is slowing. The global jobs gap stands at 402 million people, showing that demand for work still far exceeds supply. Informal work and working poverty have returned to pre pandemic levels, especially in low income nations where decent jobs remain scarce. The ILO says slow economic growth, inflation, and climate related costs are adding to the challenges. Wages remain stagnant in most regions, with only a few advanced economies seeing real income gains. But there are opportunities for young job seekers. The report highlights renewable energy and digital technology as key job creators, with green energy jobs reaching 16.2 million worldwide. However, many countries still struggle with skill shortages and weak infrastructure, limiting digital job growth. ILO Director General Gilbert Ongbo says urgent action is needed to invest in skills, expand social protections, and unlock private funding to support job creation, especially in low income nations. He warns that without decisive steps, the current crisis could deepen, leaving millions of young people without a path to economic stability. So I believe the problem has been clearly stated there, and the numbers are quite what's the word now, alarming. And again, we have issues where there are suggestions about which fields, which sectors can generate the income that young people need and that they can key into. And on the other hand, I think the statistic that says that by 2050 Africa is going to have more young workforce compared to other regions is an interesting one. And what it means that for me is that perhaps this is a time to take notes and then work towards that, rather than let it take you off guard when the time comes.
I will speak on the vulnerability of women and how much they are bagging the lower position in getting jobs.
Yeah.
And that's what I look forward to asking our guest when he comes on board, asking him what's the gap that women have to fill, the gender paying gap. So it's quite unfortunate that youth who are the leaders of today, there's a saying they are leaders of tomorrow, but I see them being the leaders of today, being jobless. And, they have qualifications, but it doesn't rhyme with what the world is seeking. And that's another challenge that we are actually facing. So
Indeed.
I look forward to a lot of things being done, a lot of gaps being closed, positively and all that. We move to the next news item we have. The second edition of the Global Labor Market Conference saw the launch of the Global Labor Charter, outlining key measures to tackle youth unemployment and enhance workforce adaptability in a rapidly changing economy. The charter, unveiled during the ministerial roundtable chaired by Saudi Arabia's Minister of Human Resources and Social Development, Engineer Ahmed bin Suleiman Al Raji, emphasizes facilitating smooth transitions from education to employment, investing in skills development, and preparing the workforce for the AI-driven era. Among the outlined solutions are initiatives to expand remote and part-time work, boost job creation through SME support, and integrate marginalized groups into the labor market. Additionally, the Charter calls for a global labor market data system to track employment trends and guide sustainable workforce policies. With over 40 labor ministers and international leaders in attendance, the conference reaffirmed its role as a strategic platform for fostering global collaboration and driving practical solutions to employment challenges. Well, this is what we're talking about. It's like a solution for the Saudi Arabia to come together to say, okay, we need to solve this issue of unemployment amongst our youth, and seeing that transitioning from education to employment. And that's a very good strategy, I must say, that immediately after school, you're done with your education, you should be employed, go into the workforce, the labor force, and, exhibit what you have been taught and what you've been trained. And another thing I want to also chip in is skill acquisition and development is very important for an individual to be equipped with different skills, not just one, but different skills, so that when you go into the labor force, you can actually render your services intelligently and usefully, for the lack of better word.
Indeed, it is a very key and important part of it. And again, for me, it's the part where technology keeps popping up, digital technology and all of that. They keep being suggested, remote work. These things work with the new age type of jobs we're seeing, where people are even saying that they can use AI to create sort of ecosystems where they don't even need physical appearances at work anymore. So these are the things we look forward to. Well, on the next line of agenda right now, we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll take our final news item, and we will then be joined by our guest to do justice to the issue at hand. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, the Nigerian government has unveiled a major initiative to combat youth unemployment by creating jobs for 12 million young farmers and food entrepreneurs. The program, developed in collaboration with Nigerian Youth Economic Engagement and Radicalization program, that is the NYEEDEP, aims to reduce poverty, curb insecurity, and empower young people across the country. The Minister of Youth Development, Comrade Ayodele Olawande, announced the initiative at a press conference in Abuja, highlighting its focus on economic empowerment. He emphasized that the program would help young Nigerians become job creators and catalysts for national development. Key areas of the initiative include the Youth Farmers Cooperative Scheme, Food for All Initiative, Arts for Money Project, Tech for Jobs Scheme, Waste to Wealth Project, Youth for Wealth Scheme, Youth for Charity Outreach, Youth for Peace Initiative, and Skills to Job Initiative. These programs will provide opportunities in agriculture, technology, renewable energy, digital commerce, and entertainment, amongst other sectors. According to the minister, the initiative will boost grassroots business clusters and cooperatives, integrating value chain investments to drive youth engagement in agri-food entrepreneurship. The goal, according to the minister, is to generate over 6 million jobs through these efforts. Well, there's no shortage of lofty policies and goals in a lot of developing nations. The key part of it is implementation. So 6 million jobs is the target. Let us begin to see what are the ways to monitor this and the ways we can, maintain target and see if we've done well or not. But that aside, I think the idea, is a welcome one. Again, green energy being mentioned, digital innovation and all of that. So these are things we think can work. We just need that holistic approach to it so that no one is left behind and funds are taken where they should be and people are given the training that they ought to have.
I totally agree with that. It's very important that policies and strategies like this come up, and most importantly, it's not just enough to say what you want to do. It's also very important to implement it. Action is very, very important to manifest what you have already said. So it's very important that youths are carried along, jobs are created, people help other people, because we have more and more generations to come. So it's very important.
All right, now we'll go to our next segment, so we'll go on a break now, and then when we return, we'll be talking to a guest. He is Emmanuel Enebili. He is the lead at the Africanovate Youth Empowerment Initiative. He'll be joining us to talk about youth empowerment and the pathways to ensure unemployment is curbed. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Every day,
Amazing stories of hope and tenacity unfold across the globe. On Hude Hour, we dive into these inspiring tales and discuss the vital work being done in the humanitarian and development space. Humanity has never faced a shortage of challenges, yet we rise stronger through teamwork and determination. Though these remedies are often underreported, on Hude Hour, we advocate sustainable solutions. We bring you the latest and most impactful news on how lives are being changed. We engage with young change makers and experts who provide valuable insights into relief efforts and the challenges faced by local communities through a global perspective. Join us every Wednesday by 8 a.m. on Hude Network's YouTube channel as we embark on this journey of positive change.
Hey everyone, let's face it, our world today experiences numerous challenges. And guess what? Our community isn't off the hook either. Most of the world issues are either not talked about enough or never talked about at all. But here on Timeline, we've got you covered. We dive deep into issues that affect us every day, leaving behind footprints of wisdom, knowledge, and solutions. Think of it like a roadmap that keeps you on the track for success. So buckle up, because in this new season of Timeline, we're taking another trip through the past, the present, and navigate into a more promising future. Again, we're talking solutions, people, and let's make one thing clear. This is not your average blah, blah, blah convo. This is real talk with a side of inspiration and a sprinkle of wow. I never thought about it like that. I'm your host on this impactful ride. Together, we'll tackle the tough stuff, laugh a little, and find ourselves on the path to positive change. So what are you waiting for? Season 2 of Timeline will be loaded. Let's get started. Hop in, and let's drive straight into the heart of issues shaping our world. Let's go. Oh, one more thing. Hit that subscribe button and let's take this ride together.
If you're just joining us, this is still Hude Hour right here on Hude Network. We have been joined now by Emmanuel Enebili. He is the team lead Africanovate Youth Empower Initiative. He's also a seasoned professional, cutting across multiple fields, venture capitalism, and so much more that might not even be able to wrap my brain around. But he's here to do justice to the issue of youth empowerment and how we can solve the issue of youth unemployment globally. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
Thanks for coming. Let's start with the developing nations. Obviously, this is a global issue, and we've seen even the global conferences suggesting solutions here and there. But let's start with developing nations. How do you think we can tailor, happenings within here, education, empowerment to global level, so that we're competing at equal pace globally, so that talent from here can get jobs, get employment, and so on and so forth?
All right. So I think youth unemployment is a global issue, like you said, right? According to a statistic by AFDB, more than 60% of young people globally are either unemployed or underemployed, which is more in Africa is worse off, because I think more than 80% of young Africa are either unemployed or underemployed. And it can be attributed to a number of factors, the major being the quality of education that we have in Africa, like you rightly said, right? Because I think it calls for a form of reform in our educational system. So the issue now is that in Africa, we are not improving the quality of our education to match what is relevant, what is useful, okay? We're still learning things now that are historical, which is not a bad thing, it's good to know, but we also have to tailor it down to what is useful to the now. So you go to universities and, even in the different fields they are studying, they are still learning methods that are ancient. They are not, even in the informal sector, where you think things will be better because things are not as rigid as the formal sector, you still see that they are still holding on to patterns that are archaic, that are not useful. So that's the first thing. I think it's causing a form of skill gap between what is required in the market and what we can offer. So those that are thriving are those that are going beyond the norm, going beyond what we are doing here, and are developing themselves on a global scale. So we need to look at what is universally acceptable and find a way to bring it down home, all right, and teach our young people so that they can be universally acceptable also.
Right.
All right, let's talk about entrepreneurship. So,
Okay.
what role does entrepreneurship play in solving youth unemployment? It's beyond just small business creation. So, what are those roles?
Um, we can't talk about improving employment without talking about entrepreneurship because entrepreneurship accounts for, I think, about 45% of jobs that we have, especially in Nigeria right now, right? Talking about bringing down home now. And even in Africa, I think statistic I saw was about 80% of jobs created in Africa are by entrepreneurship, and they are not government-based jobs. They are basically the formal and informal sectors, right? So when we talk about entrepreneurship, it's good to encourage new ideas, innovations, tech startups to, to start the ideas and to implement it in our society. But we also have to talk about how this can thrive. So before we push for entrepreneurship, we have to talk about the society that we're in. How can we create an environment for entrepreneurship to thrive, right? Especially when we have policies that are not so friendly to entrepreneurs. So yes, we can say, okay, we need more entrepreneurs, we need more new businesses, okay, to emerge, more startups and the rest. But we should also talk about how we can create a friendly environment for those businesses to thrive. So, and that's where friendly policies, government interventions, PPPA, that's public-private partnership arrangements, need to come in to see how the public can partner with private sectors, right, for to bring about policies and initiatives that will help these businesses to thrive in their environment. Okay, and that's so important. So the question we should be asking is that what policies are being created now or are in place for entrepreneurs to thrive in the different sectors that they are going into? How are they being supported? Okay, do we have friendly access to finance? Do we have enough knowledge? Do we have enough in place to give them the relevant knowledge they need to thrive in the society?
All right. Part of the resolutions that came from the Global Economic Outlook, or the summit, pardon me, was the, what's the word now? Advising, the nudging of people into areas such as green energy, technology, and all of that. How do you see this has impacted on economic opportunity for youths?
There's a lot of opportunities in these areas you mentioned, in green energy, in tech, right? There's a lot of opportunities there, right? And we've seen a lot of young people doing a lot of things there in these sectors, especially in green energy. For instance, let me take that for instance, right? I have friends that have gone into recycling, for instance, okay? And we've seen that there are a lot of opportunities there. Things like agriculture, and I'm trying to find the right word. But my point is this, right? It still boils down to the support that they have in the system, especially in Africa here. Now, when we talk about green energy, when we talk about recycling, I think the major issue we have there is awareness about what they are doing. Okay, there's little awareness about what they are doing and how it affects the environment. And what they are doing is so important, right? Because it gives us a way to preserve our environment and a way to recycle our waste outputs, for instance.
And it's also economically viable.
And
that's the question.
Exactly. It's also economically viable because For instance, I have a friend, I think I spoke about him last time. He is the MD of Trashmonger. And what he does is that he takes all these pet bottles from our environment, and he recycles them into foams and what we use for our mattresses and the rest of them. And it's a lot. But the major issue he had when he was starting up, because is that it's capital intensive. So most green fields, they are capital intensive. They require a lot of capital. They require a lot of support, especially acquiring those machines that would transform waste into gold, like we always say, right? Those machines are expensive, right? So again, it boils down to what support is being offered, what policies are in place to support businesses that want to thrive in those sectors. And even in tech now, okay, tech is going into tech is great and everything, but developing softwares or even hardwares here in Africa, for instance, right, is difficult because the necessary materials, the necessary knowledge, necessary pattern they need to do those things are not in place. So again, I'm clamoring for more support, for more policies to be on ground to support what they are doing.
Okay, Emmanuel, there are some parts of the world right now that women, gender women, are not really allowed to work and all that. So I would like to know how can we address the gender gap in youth empowerment or youth employment, especially in low-income countries?
Okay, that's an important question, and it's one of the things that we're about in our organization, right, which is gender equality. Okay, and I think the major thing is so there are two things that majorly affect gender equality growth or all around the world, and it's policies, right, and awareness. Policies and awareness, because in those places where women are not allowed in certain sectors, or where it's even difficult for them to break, like there's like a barrier to entry for them in certain sectors, it's policies that have created that, right? So we need to clamor for better policies as regards gender equality, right? And to a great extent, I think we see a lot of good things happening there. We see a lot of better policies right now than it was before. And then we also need to create awareness, okay? And that's what we do in partnership with some of our sister organizations. We go around, we create awareness about the importance of gender equality, okay? We advocate for things like equal role, equal pay, right? And what we're trying to say is that we are first of all human beings before we're anything else, before we're either male or female. And we should be recognized for what the value we can bring, right? Rather than the gender, whether you're male or female. So I think it's the awareness that needs to be created and then the policies that need to be implemented.
All right, fair enough. So to round it off now, what sustainable funding frameworks do you think is best for youth, especially youth empowerment? We have organizations where they get funding from overseas. We have people who source for funds, and then there's also the suggestion that government should just give young people money. Which one do you think is the most sustainable? Would you recommend in the long run, so that the numbers we are seeing, with the unemployment, a lot of it in Africa, a lot of it across the world, and so on, even in places where there might not be unemployment, there's underemployment, where people are doing things they are not supposed to be doing or they were trained for. What sustainable funding models would bridge this gap and ensure youth empowerment?
I think the biggest empowerment that you can do for our youth is investment in infrastructure, right? Put the relevant infrastructures in place. Okay, I know businesses that run 100% on diesel, on fuel, because they don't have power, right? If you're able to provide power for those kind of businesses, it cuts down their costs, their operation cost, and it increases their profits by a huge margin, because majority of their costs go into power generation for their businesses. That's an infrastructural issue, right?
Right. Sorry to cut you short. It seems to have run out of time. Maybe next time we'll get deeper into it.
Okay.
All right, that's how we round off the program for today. Don't forget to join us next time. We will be joining Paul Oladipupona for Verified Voices. See you. Every day, amazing stories of hope and tenacity unfold across the globe. On Hude Hour, we dive into these inspiring tales and discuss the vital work being done in the humanitarian and development space. Humanity has never faced a shortage of challenges, yet we rise stronger through teamwork and determination. Though these remedies are often underreported, on Hude Hour, we advocate sustainable solutions. We bring you the latest and most impactful news on how lives are being changed. We engage with young change makers and experts who provide valuable insights into relief efforts and the challenges faced by local communities through a global perspective. Join us every Wednesday by 8 a.m. on Hude Network's YouTube channel as we embark on this journey of positive change.
Hey everyone, let's face it, our world today experiences numerous challenges. And guess what? Our community isn't off the hook either. Most of the world issues are either not talked about enough or never talked about at all. But here on Timeline, we've got you covered. We dive deep into issues that affect us every day, leaving behind footprints of wisdom, knowledge, and solutions. Think of it like a roadmap that keeps you on the track for success. So buckle up, because in this new season of Timeline, we're taking another trip through the past, the present, and navigate into a more promising future. Again, we're talking solutions, people. And let's make one thing clear. This is not your average blah, blah, blah convo. This is real talk with a side of inspiration and a sprinkle of wow. I never thought about it like that. I'm your host on this impactful ride. Together, we'll tackle the tough stuff, laugh a little, and find ourselves on the path to positive change. So what are you waiting for? Season 2 of Timeline will be loaded. Let's get started. Hop in, and let's drive straight into the heart of issues shaping our world. Let's go. Oh, one more thing. Hit that subscribe button and let's take this ride together.
Welcome back. This is Hude Hour on Hude Network. We are coming out after the break. We were speaking to our guest, Emmanuel Enebili. Is an entrepreneur. He is someone who's very well vested in the financial and economic matters. And now we are in the Verified Voices segment, like I said, and we've been joined now by Paul Oladipupo. Paul, take us away.
Well, the question is, where do you want me to take you to today? Hi, Amadin, and hi, Joan. How are you guys doing today?
We're good, we're good.
We're good.
Take us to economic prosperity for youths and for everyone.
Exactly. That's surely what I'm going to do, no doubt. It's no doubt that youths are increasing in every region that there is. I mean, today now we see that youths are in the highest population in places like Africa. And it's interestingly, right, we see that these youths are still face one or two challenges, including one of such is unemployment rate. But today we'll be looking at what our key stakeholders are saying in this particular segment. Let's take a look at our first tweet right there. This is from International Labour Union Organization. They say that youth unemployment isn't just about numbers, it's about people's life. Despite the lowest youth unemployment rate in 15 years, decent jobs remain scarce. Many young people face insecurity and a lack of opportunities. Sarah Elder there says that youth unemployment is at its lowest in 15 years, but even if jobs are plentiful, decent job remains scarce. In a few episodes ago where we were talking about youth, one of the things where we discussed was how youth are being underpaid. Have a job, but they're underpaid. And that's what Sarah is actually pointing out there, right? Saying that even though there are so much jobs, there's a very large pool of jobs here and there. It's sad to see that there are still some youths here and there that are not having a decent job. A decent job meaning that you can feed for yourself, you have savings, and then you're not into any debt of any such. And that is what Sarah there is saying in the research of things. The number of unemployment is increasing, even with the fact that we have so much jobs now around, but we still see that in our societies, in our environment today, in our communities today, we see that youth are still underemployed and are still unemployed.
All right. Yeah, and another aspect for decent job there is talking about your human rights respected.
Yes.
Because someone can give you a job and be of the impression that I've given you this job, that means I own you now, and that means you must do whatever I say. So at the end of the day, people struggle and
it turns out to be
unemployed and they are not in decent job.
Exactly. It turns out to be a case of I own you now and you have to do whatever I wish that you do, and that's what we're facing. Joan, your reaction?
Oh, well, it's quite unfortunate. I don't know. I always begin with this statement because it's something very, very annoying. I'm very, very, deep for youths. Imagine a youth spending a lot of money being trained in school, and you come out and unfortunately there's no job for you. And even though there is job, you're still running into debt. Like
exactly.
You earn, but it's as if you don't earn at the same time.
Exactly. There's no evidence basically to show that you're actually working for something.
Of course.
Let's move on now to the next tweet right there, still on from International Labour Organization. They say over 20% of young people were neither in employment, education, nor training in 2023. It is time to invest in youth and create training and decent job opportunities for the next generation. Let's empower young people for #common future. In the real sense of things, we all have a very common future, and whatever we do now will determine whatever we meet in our future. So one of the things to ensure that we have youths or people in our society that are well-to-do, we don't have more problems in the society. One of the things that we really need to do starting from now is to ensure that we empower all of these youths. Fine, there might be a lot of jobs there, here and there, but we should try to ensure that the pay grade is being matched one way or the other in a way that these youths are being able to compete with their peers in other communities, in other nations, and things like that.
Indeed, indeed. And, I think that part of this issue is that when we talk about employment, it usually starts way back. It's like when they say you can't build something on nothing. So when you have someone who's not having education, it's very likely where it's leading. There are some outliers where people who don't have education end up building businesses, having jobs, but it's not always the case. And we have to always talk about the majority here. So I think that's one of the things to consider, that unemployment starts somewhere, and those issues should be fixed all the way across board.
Yeah, it's no doubt. It starts from education. I think that our guest mentioned is as well about the quality of education that people are getting now. And if we could actually work on things like that, we'll see the ripple down effects on people getting more decent jobs in our societies. Let's go now to the last tweet of the day quickly. This is from UNDP. Yeah, they say that this is a meeting. There was a meeting on youth empowerment for digital economy, and at the end of the day, they were able to agree on ensuring they have a particular project with key partners to ensure that they have over 300 entrepreneurs mentored. They have 130 trained in IT, 30 girls interned in IT, digital citizen platform launch, and also to invest $180,000 US dollars in startups. And the whole goal is to ensure that we see more trainings in 2025, women in IT, and also digital entrepreneurs. This is talking about empowering the youth in the real sense of things. John was talking earlier on the fact that women don't have enough jobs, just like the men. And that this is what they're trying to do with this particular thing. They specifically stated there are 30 girls interned in IT. And from internship, I'm very sure that their career will begin to grow in IT just like that. And these are the things we're talking about when we talk about empowerment. It's not just about ensuring that we create jobs, but the thing is that Do they even know how to do these jobs? We might create jobs, but we don't have the skilled labor for those jobs. And that is what this particular project is aimed at, to ensure that there's a skilled labor and also there's a market for those that are being trained in all of this.
All right.
One thing is to design a project. Another thing is to carry out the project and manifest the action. It's very important that I'm pleased to see that 30 girls are being involved. You know, they have it in it. But I still think that 30 girls are not really enough. They could try to add more numbers. And women in IT is also a very good step, I feel. And just like Paul rightly pointed out, that when women go into tech, their career from internship, their career begins to grow from there. So I look forward to seeing more women and men, especially the youths in general, having something to do, especially learning a skill, bagging a lot of things, just, you know, creating a safe future for ourselves.
Exactly. Creating a safe future for ourselves is the common goal that we all have. A hashtag our common future, and that's what we are all hoping for in the real sense of things. It's been a lovely one today on Youth. My name is Paul. Until I come your way again, thanks for watching.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, that's our round of the program for today. Don't forget to join us every Wednesday by 8 a.m. We will bring you more issues and breakdowns within the humanitarian and development space. Have a very nice day. Thanks for joining us. I am still Amadin Ogbewe.
And I am Joan. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye for now.
Thank you.